It's almost like every time when you heard the word EN voice actor and miHoYo, and it got the attention of the internet, nothing good will follow. Those who are familiar with the whole incident, which is the Paimon voice actor incident, even though the Paimon VA incident has been constantly pops up on my YouTube feed, but I don't really click into it cause I don't really care. Like, why would I listen to her when I could have just listened to Kaguya-sama? But my impression with it is like the VA guilt-tripping people to serve her interest kind of thing, and something to do with the voice acting union doing some bad stuff, and it somehow becomes the inspiration of the 2.0 story. But I don't really know. All I know that it was huge back then. Every time when I open YouTube, I would see Paimon's VA's face. And fast forward to today, the Yuzuha voice actor posts the announcement of her being in the role. She responds to somebody congrat to her with this gif, Yuzuha with the lesbian flag on the back. Of course, Yuzuha is our most precious angel, and behind her is a lesbian flag. I don't think it's a problem when somebody fantasizing her relationship with the Owless. Everyone deserves to enjoy the fantasy. But even for me, who is not exactly from US, but from where I live, which is Taiwan, generally we can't connect the dot between gender and the politics. But I've been watching the Western politics enough to know that this could spark something, especially right after the Paimon incident. And if I remember it correctly, they were also this boycotting Genshin because they don't make their characters in darker skin tone. So of course, you can't really expect to put these flags up and expect nothing bad gonna happen. So of course, it would remind people about all those bad things about the ENVA. Some bad actors in the industry ruined it so bad that they got the reputation of a septic tank, like pushing their politics agenda to serve their interests. And I do think that people could pattern recognize that because everything does fit. But I don't think that this is one of those cases where voice actors try to push their agenda. I think it's a genuine mistake. But Twitter being Twitter, they jump into the conclusion faster than the Usain boat. And here are some of the comments. Hello miHoYo, you may be interested to learn that this voice actor is openly declaring her opposition to your value in Chinese law. And yep, he's probably posting this in hope that miHoYo would actually cancel her. Thankfully, I never played with the cringe EA voice actor. This is inappropriate behavior for a voice actor. I think he means pushing the agenda. But if you're actually spending 30 seconds reading into her bios, the permanent resident of Japan, you would see that everything that she posts are just normie stuff. Her kids are excited over natural, a beautiful photos that she shared, passing by the Square Enix headquarters, and there's no single tweet is about politics. This is probably the most normie account I have ever seen. I envy her lifestyle for living like a normal person having a normal life. Unlike me who spent 24/7 on the internet getting bombarded by the drama, even though I could actually turn them off. If these people spending more than a minute scrolling down to check her tweet before they leave comment like that, and like the one that Tectone post, they should be able to recognize that this is not one of those cases. And I would wager that she doesn't even know the politics meaning behind the flag. I guess this is probably her second cultural shock ever since he came to Japan. The first one is probably when she moved to Japan living for a year. And the second one is being on the dark side of the Twitter for a few hours. These people are jumping into the conclusion faster than the speed of light. Yeah, but to be fair, the pattern does fit, but it still doesn't justify the harassment. And apparently the post is just to respond somebody congrating her on getting the VA role, and she ends up choosing this gif, and somehow this response get more attention than her main post, which is the announcement of her VA role. I could be wrong, but you're not gonna try to jeopardize your job on your first day in the work. I mean like her first role in Descendants Zone Zero. People are gonna take extra cautious for that so they don't lose their job. And it's probably a huge role for her. And this is her response. Hi, well, I just thought this was pretty. Deleting it is also controversial. Yep, that's how you wanna deal with the internet. You leave it out there. If you actually delete it, it would turn into hellfire because it's a special symbol to a minority group. But I sincerely apologize to anyone who is upset. I didn't know it was even a flag. Looks like a sunset to me. So she was clear that that is an oopsie. And yeah, she lived in Tokyo since 2005. That's the most normie response. If I posted something to do with that, it was purely accidental, but discrimination against minority is not okay. Kimberly, if you're listening, people are mad not because of the minorities. They're mad because they thought you're pushing some kind of politics agenda. Because in general, bringing politics into hobbies in itself is bizarre. People hated it. And the same with the gaming space. And there were a lot of voice actors doing that and got the lashback and lost their job in the game that is called Genshin, which is the same company with Descendants Zone Zero. And somehow your post reminds them of that. It is not your fault, but it's just how internet politics work. Oh wait, you're busy enjoying your life. No wonder you don't know anything about it. You can't compete with my internet knowledge, cause I spend 10 hours a day on the internet. Why do I sound like a loser? And do you know who doesn't want this Paimon incident happen the most? The MiHoYo. I don't think they will be looking for the same group of voice actors, or they're gonna have another patches having characters that have no voice over at all, like the one in the Natland. And recently with the Honkai Star Rail Fate collab, I think they at least did a bare minimal amounts of work on checking the background. Like, do they have like abnormal politics tendency? Because without the voiceover, their game would probably suffer the most, and subsequently their sales. And if I were in charge, I would do everything in my power to not let Da Wei cries again. So yeah, everything kind of fit. Like the English voice actor, the MiHoYo game, the flag, and people would have been right for like 9 out of 10 times when this happened. Even I myself initially thought that this is one of those pushing the agenda in the sneaky way, but this one is happened to be that 1 out of 10. Like the way she responded the lashback, it's obvious that she's trying to de-escalate thing. She doesn't go around escalating thing by saying F you, F that, if you disagree with me, you're a terrible person. She did none of those. And generally when any game grow big, there will be part of the community that is going to be toxic. But in this case, I really do think that most of the haters are coming from the same batch of people who hate on the Paimon's VA. I don't think most of them are actually coming from Descendants Zone Zero, cause we have been like chilling for the longest time. Unless somebody who brings the issue from other game to Descendants Zone Zero, like Saint Tontas. And of course in this case, the Genshin. So I do think that the sentiment that this represents Descendants Zone Zero community is definitely misleading. But I wouldn't be surprised that some people actually coming from Descendants Zone Zero, but you get the point. And yeah, I hope this video will calm the tit down of some people and de-escalate the situation a bit. Anyway, just play more game and spend less time on Twitter, and see ya guys.